Hi, and welcome back to this Tuesday edition of Focal Point AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. Great to have you in the conversation. Just a reminder that the movie Alone Yet Not Alone is going to be in theaters on June 13. That's coming right up. My wife has seen this movie, an advanced preview copy, says it's very, very good. Alone Yet Not Alone is the name of the movie. It's a true story about a pioneer Christian family of unshakable faith facing the ultimate test for survival. So it's a reminder of God's faithfulness in times of trial, in times of testing, in times of adversity, that God never will leave us nor forsake us. This is based on a true story. It's going to open Father's Day weekend. That's June 13. You can reserve tickets at aloneyetnotalone.com. So it's a period piece. It's set in the mid-1700s. You've got the British and the French struggling for control over the resources of the new territory that became the United States. Worth seeing. Opens June 13. Alone Yet Not Alone. Go to aloneyetnotalone.com. Well, let's grab a couple of phone calls. The number to call is 888-589-8840. Got a couple that have been waiting patiently. Let's go to Shannon in Exeter, Missouri. Shannon, welcome. Thank you for calling, and thank you for waiting. What's on your mind?
Hey, God's blessings to you, Brian.
Thank you, sir. God bless to you.
Thank you. I accept in Jesus' name. Listen, I just wanted to share something. I know I kind of bust your chops a little bit on this occasionally, but I'm thinking between, Obama getting up there and speechifying all the time and all the carbon dioxide that comes out of his air, out of his mouth when he's breathing in that oxygen and breathing out carbon dioxide. Okay, that's creating a lot of problems, and I'm for the EPA shutting down carbon, waste like that. We need to have Obama close his mouth and do us all a great big favor. And then secondly,
that's a pretty good suggestion, Shannon. That's a great suggestion. That would be a one-man solution to the problem of CO2 emissions and the global warming. That's a great suggestion. Anyway, go ahead. Finish your thought.
It would be a good start, at least. And two, the second thing is you and Wesley and those guys that have been using your titanium things, you guys are causing a lot of particulates to go into the air to mix with that carbon. So between the two of you guys, I just don't know if we're going to be able to manage to save our planet.
Well, now wait a minute, Shannon. No, hold it. Now you're suggesting that we need to do something to control the CO2 emissions that are coming from our president. I understand that. I'm down with that. I agree with that. But you start messing with my golf game, Shannon, that's a whole different deal now.
Well,
I can't go there.
You're trying to improve it. You're going to get those 3 screws out. They're going to put some baling wire in, and you're going to be better than new. It'll be good, brother. Hey, God bless you.
All right. Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, and I guess the deal, to pull the screws out on Thursday, then they sew me back up, and I think they're going to want me to keep some weight off of that leg for about a week. I pulled out the crutches from 2010 in case I need them, but apparently they don't want me to they don't use anything more than tiptoes for about a week or so that the holes, there's 3 little holes. I've looked at took pictures of the x-rays of the screws. They're long puppies. Comparatively long, look long to me, and they maybe wouldn't look long to you, but it's not your hip. So anyway, they pull those things out, and those holes then have to fill in, and I guess that takes a little while to do it. Go back, I think on June 10, get the stitches out, and then hopefully I'll be good to go. All right, let's go to John in Richmond, Virginia. Don't forget, phone number is 888-589-8840. John, Richmond, Virginia, welcome. What's on your mind?
Hi, Brian. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I was just curious as to where you're getting your information about global warming, because all I've been seeing recently is pretty much that it's actually happening, and it's becoming a problem where it's going to be a problem very soon where we won't be able to turn back.
So you've been getting information that the globe is warming?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I guess the more relevant question, John, would be where are you getting your information? Because that is horribly skewed information that you've been getting.
Well, it's
horrible.
What I was about to say about the information that you're putting out there, because for example.
Well, let me ask you, John. Let me ask you this: would you accept evidence that came from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. That's a federal government agency. Would you accept information, data coming from them?
Yes, well, that's where most of the client information goes to. That's basically the journal of climate science.
Okay, there you go. So would you accept data coming from NASA satellites?
Okay. So now we have to make a distinction there, because NASA satellites, if you look at one data point, like you're doing with the Antarctic sea ice, that's you're not looking at the big picture, so you're not really seeing an accurate portrayal of what's going on if you're just going by single satellite data. For example,
hold it, John. The satellite data, they've been measuring temperature since 1979, using satellite to take the temperature readings.
Yeah.
And the record
years.
The record
that there is an increase.
Come again?
We've got data going back many years, over 100 years, showing a persistent increase.
Well, maybe about a half a degree over the last 150 years. And most of that was prior to 1940, when the Industrial Revolution really kicked in. We started kicking all the CO2 into the air. And don't forget, John, the same people that today are telling us that we're headed toward catastrophic global warming, we're going to incinerate the planet, life as we know it is over, those same people were telling us in the 1970s that we were headed into a global ice age. We were all going to freeze to death. I mean, John, you just cannot believe these environmental activists. They will say whatever they think will stir you, John, into a panic and into a frenzy, so they can justify more government programs and more government intrusion into industry and our personal lives.
Brian, if I may, that thing about the ice age, that is inaccurate. And let me just pick out
what's inaccurate about it?
Well, that was the consensus back then.
I mean, John, it was on the cover of Time magazine in 1975. A big giant spread on the cover of Time magazine. You cannot get any more consensus than the cover of Time magazine in the mid-'70s.
Brian, that is not a scientific journal. That is a popular magazine. They're not known for picking accurate data. They just have sensationalist headlines that they want to put out there.
Wait.
Brian?
So, John, hold it. I got to call you on that. So you're saying that Time magazine in 1975, they just made all that up? They didn't talk to any. They didn't talk to any scientists. They didn't talk to anybody that had a climatological or meteorological perspective. They just made that stuff up.
They weren't representing the consensus.
Well, But John, that's the only reason they put the cover story out there. This is what all of the leading climatologists and environmental activists were saying. They were all saying that we've got a catastrophe on our hands. The planet is going to freeze. We're all going to turn into ice cubes. We've got to do something drastic to keep the globe from freezing to death.
If I may just change the subject slightly here, you claim that the Antarctic sea ice was higher than normal, and that's what you're choosing as part of your argument.
Yeah, I'm looking, John. I'm looking right at the chart right here. I got three charts in front of me. Mm-hmm. One of them is a chart of the Antarctic sea ice. For the last 30 months, every single day, it's been above normal. So there's been no, and there's another chart. Again, I'm looking at the chart, the UAH temperature anomalies on the Antarctic. Again, this is from a government source. This isn't from some kind of right-wing wacko source. Also, sea surface temperatures in the Southern Ocean. This chart from 1979 to 2014, the chart starts in January of 1979. It goes to April of 2014. It shows zero. I repeat, none. I repeat, nada. I repeat, zip. I repeat, zilch warming in the Antarctic. So you got no warming according to all the scientific measurements. You've got Antarctic sea ice, again, measured by the satellites. So if you have a problem with that, your problem's not with me. It's with NASA or NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, shows that Antarctic sea ice has been above normal every day for the last 30 months. One more, and then I'll let you respond. And then I'm looking at another chart here, again, a scientific chart, scientific data, that shows that the planet has been cooling since 2005. It has been cooling, John, since 2005. The Russian scientists are telling us because of the solar activities going into what they call the solar minimums. The last time we had a large ice age was because of the Maunder minimum back several hundred years ago. We're heading into another one of those solar minimums. They think we could be heading into a period of global cooling that could last 30 to 40 years. All right, your turn.
Okay. So point one, I would say that, okay, you're looking at one region on the planet, and you're looking at one variant there. You're looking at the sea ice and the sea temperature. You're ignoring the land ice, and you're ignoring ice mass. And, of course, you're ignoring ice mass everywhere else on the planet, and the fact that glaciers all over the planet are receding at astronomical rates.
That's John, that's absolutely wrong. I had a story I covered about a week ago. 87% of the glaciers in the Himalayas are absolutely stable. There are a few that are showing some are receding. There are others that are showing some advances, but 87% of them in the Himalayas are stable. So John, the problem here is you're basing your position on information that is scientifically inaccurate. You got to wake up, my friend. You're being John. You don't realize how anti-science you're sounding here.
No,
the satellite. One more thing, and then I'll let you have the last word. The satellite temperature readings, they've been taking them since 1979, and they have shown absolutely no global warming. I'm not talking Antarctic. I'm not talking Arctic. I'm talking global here, John. You're saying I've been picking my spots. This is global. No global warming in 17 years and 10 months. That's global, my friend. No global warming in 17 years and 10 months. John, I hate to break it to you, but you're anti-science, my friend. Last word.
That is based on a fallacy. May I respond to that one in particular?
Yeah, you got 45 seconds. It's all yours.
All right, well, now Phil Jones said that through 95 to 2009, there was warming, but only slightly, and it was statistically insignificant. Now, that does not mean there was no warming, but that was taken by the Daily Mail to say there was no warming, and you are simply extrapolating that to the current date, which is inaccurate, to say that there has been no warming in 17 years. That is not, 95 to 2009 is not a good period to get statistically significant information.
Well, what it means, John, is that for more than half of the period of time in which we have been monitoring temperatures via satellite, for more than half of that time, there has been zero, as in no, global warming whatsoever. Right at the time where CO2 emissions continue to increase, we ought to have increasing global temperatures. We don't. No global warming. Back in 2.